one guy who's had a bit of a year is down in Lamarque, down in the greater Houston area. Lamarque's been through a lot. If you haven't been following the story, Lamarque ISD was absorbed by Texas City ISD, leaving the fate of Lamarque High School kind of in doubt. And the guy at the center of it, the guy who is probably, I think, glad that the whole situation is over, he joins us now. It's the head coach of the Lamarque Cougars. It is Coach Mike Jackson. Coach Jackson, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, good to be here. Good to talk to you again.
I guess from a very basic perspective, considering everything that's happened with Lamarque ISD in the past 2 years, what has this time been like for you?
Greg, it's first of all, it's been a lot longer than 2 years. I've been here 5 years, and you could see it slowly heading that way with the monetary issues, and I know by my second year here in 2012, we were really running into money issues, and there were some major problems. But it really, at that point, we had the numbers up. I think 2012, we were running 4 teams. That was when we had dropped down to 3A in the old 3A. It really wasn't hitting us. In 2013, it started affecting the football program, and you saw our numbers drop, and the enrollment in the school and the district was going down. And this last 3 years has really, I wouldn't wish this upon anybody, and especially the last year. The last 52 weeks that our kids went through from February 6th last year, when they made the announcement that the district was going to be closing, until pretty much this last 10 days. About 10 days ago, I was confirmed that I was staying on as coach by the school board at Texas City ISD. That whole time, it was just a complete period of uncertainty, and the saddest thing really was our kids really couldn't concentrate on football. They had to grow up real fast and worry about things that were out of their control, which was a shame to see.
One of the most bizarre situations that we've seen in quite a long time is that here you are, the coach at Lamarque, and you have been there for 5 years, and you've been doing great things. Lamarque has been, really strong under you, and yet here you go, without losing your job gets posted, as is what has to happen when something like this happens with Texas City ISD absorbing Lamarque ISD. For you, what was that time like for you, where you have this job that you've been doing a good job at, and yet they're all of a sudden saying, "Oh, well, we're going to see what else is out there"?
I think anybody that goes into coaching, Greg, I always joke and say, you can write your own book, and when my career is finished and I write my book, the Lamarque chapter is definitely going to be an interesting read. And I guess I can cross off my bucket list, apply for the same job twice, and get the same job twice. The best way, I don't know if it's the best way. The way I handled that was, all you could do was let your record speak for itself and hope that was enough. And, I've communicated with you over the years. Lamarque has a great history and a storied history. And all that being said, I'm not sure, even with the 5 state championships and the 10 state titles, I don't know that the men surrounding me for the last 5 years, and it's been a revolving door, and I can't fault anybody for that. I mean, people have families to feed, and you want to be in a stable situation and further your career as a coach and all those things. All I did, Greg, was we're 50-14 in those 5 years, and I believe our district record's 21-1. And I know all these numbers because when you have to reapply for your job, you make it your point to know all these numbers. I'm very proud of the job that the kids have done and that the men have done that have come through here. I've had some really good coaches around me, and quite honestly, in the last couple of years, we've seen those guys go on to either take coordinator jobs or head jobs, and again, I can't fault anybody, especially in the last year. I mean, this last year, I would not wish this scenario upon any adult, any child. Just an example of it, Greg. We're playing in by district, and the principal comes to me at halftime. We're walking in to make halftime adjustments, and tells me that the TEA has officially denied the appeal, and Lamarque's going to be closing. So instead of dealing with your halftime football adjustments, we're dealing with, in a playoff game, breaking the news to the kids, because they already know, because people all in the stadium have their smartphones and have picked up the news. So I've had to deal, and not only me, the kids and the men working with the program, we've had to deal with some extraneous things that I never would have thought in my life that I would deal with as a head football coach or athletic director. But I've also tried to look at it as a learning experience, and hopefully it's made me a better coach and a better leader.
You mentioned the players. I imagine that they're going through a lot as well, where they're saying, okay, is my school even going to be there next year? What did you tell your kids to balance that uncertainty with the fact that, oh, yeah, you need to go out there and win some football games?
Well, I mean, when it first came out last February, the first thing I did that day in athletics, and I've told people this, I'll remember February 6, 2015 for the rest of my life. And I could sit here and tell you it doesn't affect me and it doesn't scar you a little bit, but I'd be lying. And the men that do the job that we do, we're silly enough to take this really, really seriously and think it matters. And, so when something like that happens to something you put so much time in at that point, 4+ years, it shakes you to the core. What I did was walk in athletics, and that first Friday, I told the kids, if you need to go to another school, I completely understand it. And I told my coaches the same thing, and it hurts. It physically pains you to see something that you put so much time into ripped apart, and you don't have any control over it. And then, and you can imagine just being tired of the phone ringing and text and what's going to happen and how many times you're going to answer that. And so that whole year, the last off season was the hardest off season, obviously, in my career. And you're trying to hold it together, and it was like you're in a rowboat with a bunch of holes in the floor, and you're trying to plug this hole and another hole would spring up, and it just you never could seem like focus on football. And, the biggest challenge was obviously losing some really good coaches that I normally wouldn't have lost, and then trying to hold your kids together. And it's a situation where, yeah, you want to keep them, and you're selfish a little bit. You want to keep good players here, but you also have to be sensitive to the fact that parents have to make decisions. And if they felt like it was in the best interest of their child to go somewhere else, far be it for me to try to dissuade them or stop that. So, it was a scary situation. And to be quite honest, I mean, I looked at leaving, and the reason I didn't leave was it got to the point where you look around and these seniors didn't ask for this, and it's not their fault. And it was a good group of kids. So, it was a very emotional. I've had better one-loss records. We were 9-3 last year. That's not by any means a great year for us. That's not, but given the circumstances and given the fact that, when we started the year, we were playing with 3A Division I numbers, which is what we'll be next year. And, our first 5 games were, I think the enrollment of our first 5 opponents was 1,900, 4,000, 1,200 and 1,500. And that's kids go out and they're Lamarque, Greg. They don't know any better. They just, and I mean that in the most complimentary way I can. They just put the blinders on Friday night and go play. And I have a lot of respect for those kids that stayed. And I kind of bet on my kids and bet on me this year. That we said all year, everybody knows this isn't the same Lamarque, and everybody on our schedule was ready to inflict some payback for all those years of Lamarque getting after you. And I think our kids acquitted themselves very well. I mean, you always want to win one more game or 2 more games or go as far as you can. But I know when that season was over, those kids just laid on the turf exhausted, and it was physical, but it was also just the mental grind of it seemed like always having to get over that hump and worry about what TEA was doing or would there be a school or the whole thing. So it's made me grow up a lot, and it certainly, it's not something I wish upon them, but it certainly made our kids, especially our seniors, grow up and deal with some real world things.
We're talking with Mike Jackson, the head coach of the Lamarque Cougars here on DCTF Live. Get involved with the conversation at hashtag DCTF Live. One of those seniors, Amiel Fleming, a big defensive tackle, signs with Houston. A guy who's going to go and join Tom Herman's squad, and a lot of great defensive linemen heading there. For Cougar fans who are excited about Fleming coming in, what can you tell them about the player that they're going to get?
I mean, shoot, he's already had a great career before he even starts. I think Paul Wall shouted out to him on Twitter. I mean, once you get Paul Wall shouting out to you, I mean, where does it go from there?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you might as well just quit. I mean, yeah, it's never getting any better from there.
There you go. So Amiel is, Tom's done a great job recruiting, obviously, and he wouldn't be there if he didn't have some natural ability. That being said, he knows this. Hey, the recruits that they're going to bring in, especially from the time he committed in August till next year and the next year, this isn't the end of the road, man. This is just the start. He better. He brought his workout packet that they send to all the recruits, and was showing it to me yesterday. And in my office, I have a big collage made of one of my kids, Mike Brockers, that he's a starting defensive tackle for the St. Louis Rams. I guess it's the Los Angeles Rams now. But I just remember I told Amiel the story of when LSU sent Mike that packet. I couldn't kick Mike out of the weight room. I mean, he was just determined he was going to go to LSU, and if they were going to redshirt him, boy, it was going to be a hard decision for him. And they ended up redshirting him, but he ended up doing all the good and can probably buy you, me, and everybody else in Harris County 10 times over with all the money he's making. So if Amiel has that work ethic and will get after it, it's going to be hard. I mean, they're getting some good players in there, but I think he'll do well as long as he stays grounded and takes care of his books and realizes he's going to have to compete for playing time.
You mentioned realignment. You guys get dropped into District 12 3A Division I with Anahuac, Hardin, Hempstead, Hitchcock, and East Chambers. Your initial reaction, obviously dropping down, it's bizarre to see you guys down in 3A Division I, but your initial reaction to your district draw?
Honestly, I've thought the last three realignments we were going Region 4, and we just seem to pull everybody. I think the unluckiest draw, if you want to be in Region 4, is to be anywhere near Lamarque, because poor Hitchcock, they hadn't been in Region 3 since 1987, and I kept telling the coach over there, we're going to pull you into Region 3. We've done it to Sweeney and West Columbia and everybody that we've been around for the last 6 years. So I kind of expect, everybody told us you're going to be Region 4. You're going to be Region 4. Well, I don't, we just kind of have the attitude around here, whatever, just whoever we're playing, put them on the schedule, we'll line up and play. So, obviously Hitchcock is going to be, they're 4 miles down the road. That'll be a nice rivalry for Galveston County. But, we need that because for the first time we're not playing Galveston ball or Texas City. And it just, they both have enrollments close to 2,000 and we turned in 458. So that's just not really the odds that you want to try to buck. But Hitchcock will be a good rivalry. I know there's some good programs, and honestly, Greg, Cameron Yo is the king of Region 3. So until somebody knocks them off, they're the king. So we have all the respect for Cold Springs dropping down. There's some good football. Kirbyville, Rockdale, Franklin. I've had to learn a lot of these and do my homework, but we know that there's going to be good football to be played. So we're losing a lot. I'd feel a lot better if we had our offensive line from this past year coming back, but we're losing every one of them. So but our kids are working hard, and they know the tradition they always have to uphold with that paw on the side of the helmet.
And I also imagine, not to keep you too long, but I also imagine that just having that stability will be, as good as bringing back a couple starters.
I'm going to tell you the best analogy I can give you is we played the last 3 seasons. It seemed like there was a cloud hanging over us, and especially this last year, it was like there was a thunderstorm. Something was always going on. But the kids, we've worn the same uniforms. Not that makes any difference, I guess, in how you play, but maybe it does. Maybe it's a mindset. The money just wasn't there. Kids have worn the same uniforms the last 4 years. They know this year they're getting new uniforms. They know that, they're getting washers and dryers and things that when you go into great programs or even the not so great programs across Texas, you see those things. And when you walk in Lamarque with all that tradition, you would think it should be there, and it wasn't. And that wasn't anybody's fault per se. It was what it was. But I'll say this, and I told the newspaper this when Realignment Day came. This is going to be the first time in a long time we just get to focus on who we're playing, and I like our chances. Let our kids focus on just playing the guy across from them on that football field, and our kids will go. So it'll be fun. We'll see. We're certainly not out of the woods. Right now, I don't have – everybody has to reapply for their jobs and apply for jobs. So it's just – we're just now getting it started with hiring coaches. Right now, officially, I don't have a coach for Lamarque High School. I'm the only person right now that's employed for Lamarque High School next year. So I've got a lot of work to do in putting together a staff, but that also is a great opportunity to get good people in. And, people like to get that Lamarque experience on their resume. That always looks good. I guess now I'm doing a shout out so anybody, if you're a good coach, if you hear this, you just come on and we'll go try to win a ring. But it is. I'm happy for the kids, Greg. They deserve everything that any other student would get. And they do. They play with a lot of pressure around here. There's always that pressure of looking up and seeing those 10 flagpoles on Friday night at Etheridge, and our kids handle it quite well. So I'm looking forward to them, being able to be kids and go have fun and compete and take care of their classwork, and we move on from there.
He is Mike Jackson. I can only speak for Dave Campbell's Texas football, but we are very happy to say that he is still the head coach of the Lamarque Cougars, joining us here on DCTF Live. Coach, I guess congratulations on getting out of part of the woods. I'm sure we'll be talking down the road, and good luck in the coming months.
Greg, hey, again, you guys do a great job. I mean, you really, everything you guys do for Texas high school football is awesome. My only complaint is
here we go. All right, hold on, I'm buckling up.
Go Astros. This whole range of things. You got us at the end last year, but
darn right they did.
I think I told you last summer if we can just keep the Stros 3 to 5 games ahead of you, but you ended up getting us. But I do enjoy seeing you and your wife at all those games. You need to come down to Minute Maid, and we'll take you to a game sometime.
For sure, man. Right. It's a date. There he goes. Coach Jackson, really appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon, bud.
Take care.
There he goes, Mike Jackson, head coach of Lamarque. I know he's a Houston guy, so he's a big Astros fan. He's always getting me on Facebook whenever the Astros beat the Rangers.
Yeah, he's coming for you.
I know, but it's been a wild ride for him, and he's a good dude, and he's a great coach, and
it's a heck of a program, man.
It's a proud program, man. I'll tell you, when he said I'd read it, but when he said, we turned in a number of 458, they were 5A a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know.
Look.
It's a bizarre situation. Obviously, a lot of moving parts, but them getting absorbed by Texas City is ultimately the fact that they're going to have some more stability is good.
The classroom stuff comes first, of course, but I mean, as high school football fans, just the sheer idea that Lamarque may not be part of the tradition anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't. It's tough to process.
Yeah.
Just it doesn't seem right without them.
I know, but I'm very glad for him. I'm very glad for his family that they get a little bit of stability and just it's a bizarre situation that seems to be finally coming to a settle. So
Let's hope, man.
that's